according to our rules. These ones come apart very gently, but they do. So does this one, and then that one over there is kind of a wall model, which we'll get into later, but you can touch it, test it, punch it, stand on it, whatever you feel.
And these are our instruction manuals on how to put our house together.
If you would like to take a look at that as well. So I'm Danielle,
I'm Zach.
and our project was Project Grow, modular housing for Rwanda. Rwanda has a population of 1 million, and 20% is urban, but recently Rwanda made the most progress in reducing urban slum environment by more than 25%. Our site is in Rwanda, obviously, which has 3 districts, and Kigali is the capital. We are located on the top of the hill, the darkest, way at the top there. We started looking at the settlement patterns of not only slums, but typologies of different King's Hut typology and just different cultures and the way that they settle. This is a diagram of kind of how we came up with our master plan. We started with the King Hut typology of having the King's Hut as the master of all the other smaller colonies, and we thought that like this circular pattern creates this form of unity and continuality and community. So then we progressed into the next form, where we have this layer of growth, this layer of community, and then this small layer of education, which Zach started to explore. And then in the next one, we kind of started to ripple the community and kind of overlay them. And we held these resultant spaces. And then with that, we kind of took those smaller spaces and decided to branch off into these nodal things, which kind of brought us back to the original King's Hut typology, where we have like this, ruling central, and then we have the nodes around it. And then that gave us 4 separate nodes, which we actually have 6 on our updated master plan, I believe. The climate and infrastructure in Rwanda, there's monsoon rains, and like we mentioned earlier, it's mild temperature. In places like the slums or informal settlements, there is drinking water issues and sewage and contamination. There's inadequate conditions that can lead to health concerns, like I said, sanitation, and serious diseases. With the overcrowding houses, this exposes people to high rates of pneumonia, tuberculosis, diarrhea, and other issues of STDs and West Nile virus. But the big picture that most of us seem to miss is that these are still people, even though we feel that they're not living in the most adequate of living conditions. They still form this sense of community, and despite all this turmoil, we need to take a closer look at this. Like I said, they have a strong sense of community, and they actually have an intelligent aspect of master planning in themselves, because they organize themselves around what they need, and then through that they're able to develop these values and morals and this way of life. And a big contributor to that is the freedom of choosing where you live, choosing how you build, choosing what you build with, choosing who you live next to, choosing who your friends are, choosing where your kids go to school. It's just a bunch of choices that you're able to make on your own, because no one's telling you need to live in this type of house and you need to act this certain way and this is the lifestyle that you need to lead. And while higher systems feel that the way to solve this informal settlement or overcrowding or urbanization of slums is they just want to provide more and more housing. What they don't realize is this is actually very costly, and then that forces people to shy away from this, because not only are they saying this is the type of housing that you need to live in because the type of housing you're living in is inadequate, but it's kind of forcing them, like I said, to live a certain lifestyle, which many of them could not afford. And the main motive primarily for committing oneself to the always exacting and often exhausting jobs may be a governed need for not only shelter, yet self-accomplishment and worth. And that's a big thing through building something on your own. You're proud, you're accomplished, So for our design, we decided to stay to the vernacular of the area and really research and develop a type of modular housing which can allow a sense of freedom to be integrated while supplying a more sophisticated unit.
Looking at growth in the community, my focus for my research topic was on education, and I wanted to try and get people to grow through their education, you know, because when you start small, you go to school and your education grows. And what we did was we made the schools one of the large nodes, and one of the large nodes right here. So that like all the houses kind of come away from that and they're centered around this school. And then from there, from the school, we branch off into a smaller node, which could be a small amenity, and that's where people will like recycle their waste and everything, and where they will get their power and utilities and stuff like that, because they're gonna attach on to what they need, and they're gonna grow from that. This is a basic floor plan of the house at its most basic state. So you have like a kitchen entry area, and you have living area, and then you can have like your private spaces and everything like that. We chose a triangular format because we wanted to work with the hexagons, and because previously in our first iteration of our master plan, we worked with we had these large circles, and then we had these orthogonal shapes, rectilinear type forms that tried to fit inside the circle. We realized that we didn't like the contrast so much, so we worked with a hexagon instead because it works better with our circular king-size typology.
And in addition, it allows us to control sort of, because overall we want to set this framework for this growth and, you know, allow it to kind of take its own, but we don't want it to get out of hand. And we realized that with the previous master plan, we really had no set way of controlling that. And with this new hexagonal plan, we have this almost rules that are unspoken, in which you can only conjoin them in certain ways because of the, I don't want to say awkward shape, but it is in a way, I guess.
Yeah, so we kind of set up this infrastructure to which people can connect to, and then they can connect to each other and grow off of one another. And, you know, they connect horizontally via these sun-shade devices, and yeah,
Yes.
those things on the outside.
There's more detailed versions right there, and then on the larger model.
And they connect that way, and then they connect
Sorry.
vertically through there's a slider piece that's located in the wall. It comes out through the bottom right here, and your utilities run vertically through that also, and that's how they connect to one another.
So the one in Professor Tippy's hands will connect to the one that you're holding,
Oh,
if you do it correctly.
can you show the
Don't mess
Yeah,
it
do you
up.
wanna show?
Jack, can you?
Oh.
Excuse me.
I'll show you.
I like
Not
that
to take a
purple.
break.
Oh, that's nice.
From,
I
oh,
like the
that
patio.
is kind of
I
cool.
like what you did there.
See that?
Always
Really
looking for the
ties the room
patio.
together.
Okay, so this is gonna take a while. So you do it like, you stick that one in there. And that one would stick in there.
Danielle, can you move it to the right a little bit? Oh, okay, thank you.
And there's wood sit on top, like that. But those will also double as foundational pieces to allow it to, if the grade is uneven and you are the first house on the ground, it acts as a foundational support so that you may even out your house and also secure your house into the ground because we don't want floating houses. And with that, we then started looking at materials. And we have, these are just the overall concepts of materials found in Rwanda. There's the traditional with the mud brick, the concrete screed flooring and the clay roofing tile, excuse me. And then there's more formal with fire brick, steel and glass, as you can see in the first picture, and then ceramic tile in the center. And then there's also the alternate, which is lightweight concrete, papercrete, which we initially sought out to be our material and just have this framework and then it be a fill-in. But then we decided to go with this more structural concept with this cardboard, which is done by Shigeru Ban. Shigeru, there you go. And we realized that he did some refugee housing, which was near Rains, and also this is the tea house, which I don't believe it's by him.
This is, yeah.
It is? Are you sure? Okay.
Not at the bottom.
Not at the bottom, no. And you can see if you look in the larger model, in those walls and in the floors, this grid system is applied as what we're basically constructing them as. And then to waterproof them, we looked into NeverWet, which there's a model done by Professor Maurer, which is a larger version of the grid, and then that's a simulation of what the NeverWet would potentially be.
And we made this, kind of like test model to see what it can do and everything, and how well it will be to build with and everything. And this is only, 6 inches high?
6 centimeters.
6 centimeters thick, and I can stand on it being 200 pounds, and it doesn't really budge that much at all.
We had the whole studio stand on it. if I could
Yeah.
say.
It was?
No.
That would be impressive.
But so it's very sturdy.
Have you
and
tried spanning it? Yeah, they did.
We did. We spanned it in between two large methods books,
Uh-huh.
and could hold me. And at even
Yes,
at
mead has many uses.
Oh, yes.
yeah,
Holding down pieces
The
to
best of
glue.
which is paperweight.
and this only being 6 inches, and our floor being closer to centimeters. Sorry. And our floor being closer to 30 centimeters, we realized that it's definitely going to work out, and it's going to hold its
The only
weight.
thing that we did realize is that the grid has to be smaller, so more compact, so it'll hold more tension. And then we started looking at infrastructure techniques, which as you can see on the master plan and the nodal site, we have the green patches. We realized, how are we gonna control water? You can't just let it run down the hill. So we decided to implement the bioswales along the roads. And so with the buildings being raised in the stepping form that they are, the water can run under them and then get trapped into the bioswale and then vanish to the earth. And then we also have the sunshades, and they are now electrical connectors.
Utility connectors, yeah.
Utility
We figured we didn't want to have a set grid on the ground, because we felt that, if we're having these where people place their house wherever they want, we don't want to limit where they place these or where they can place them, and they have to connect to the grid. So we laid out this infrastructure that runs through the schools and the amenities, and then these people connect via the sunshades horizontally, starting at first with the sunshades to this, and that's how they get their water and their electricity. And also at these small nodal centers like this, we'll have Wi-Fi there, a Wi-Fi hub that can, span, because with the educational system growing, they have this one laptop per child program, and it's actually worked really well in helping education grow throughout the country. And so this Wi-Fi will help a lot to facilitate that program.
Another benefit to us stepping is allowing for ventilation to come through. If you look in the larger model, there are 2 flaps right here that can be pushed back that allow for air to come in or air to be trapped or kept out. And then this allows the circulation to come because in the Rwandan climate, you don't technically need insulation. So we wanted to provide this ventilation system and doubling on the whole, it allows water to pass through. It also allows air to pass through and circulate in the house, and so it doesn't get musty.
We looked at a person and what kind of waste they contribute to, or they produce. And, well, they produce recyclable waste that, you know, you throw in a recycle bin. They produce garbage, and they also produce sewage, which, for our house, because it's modular, and we didn't wanna, cut into the earth, really, for this plumbing, and we're not on a grid, so we had to figure out how to do our sewage system, which we were, looking at a tank underneath the house, which it all flows down, and the tank will be detachable and have like wheels or something. And, you know, people can cart it to, their central node that they grew off of, and they can dispose of it there. And then this sewage can be composted there, and then, it could go into the bioswales and kind of work its way back into the earth that way.
If you can see in this model, which is kind of hard because it's kind of down in there, but this is the, I don't know if I can pick this up, I can. Inside there is, you can see the connector piece that's being shown up there with the holes inside.
And that's where your, utilities will run up through there.
Do you have the diagram of how the sewage goes from one area to another? The diagram of how you deal with these wastes? I mean, you described the waste that they're producing, but what do you do with them? Never mind, keep going.
You, Jared, I don't know if you put it in the presentation.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, like, I don't, okay, never mind. Anyway,
I understand.
okay. Then we looked at furniture, and we wanted to continue this whole modular, because there's walls in that site, in that model, the larger model in front of you. But that is just a suggestion, because we thought that we can supply walls and then they can kind of build them to the rooms that they need, because not everyone needs 2 or 3 bedrooms. Maybe someone just needs 1 bedroom, but they want, you know, 2 living rooms. So we have these pieces of furniture that have, that are storage walls and bed walls, and they have doors that slide in and out of them, so that it comes as one unit, so that you don't have to buy each separate. And it has multiple functions. We also developed this sectional seating, which originates off of the triangular grid, and it can go into the triangle, and then it can break it apart into different variations. So it can be manipulated according to how you set your walls. And then the bottom left picture, which we did have a model of, but it broke, is our stairwell that would attach to the sunshades, and then you would progress up from there.
It was like an exterior stair so that you can get up to your house on the 3rd level or something like that.
And then we decided that our ultimate goal is to not only allow this technique to develop in Rwanda, but as we started to develop it, we realized that since it's modular, it could potentially be refugee housing that could flourish. So we have it just kind of, you know, breaking out, growing not only around North, but all over the world. And then this, if it works.
It's a little video we made about how it can grow. It's fun music.
It's okay.
I sense the aid of